Kung Fu. Before it turned into a slow-motion fight scene on every TV show, Kung Fu was a battlefield language. Its roots go back thousands of years in China, where monks at the legendary Shaolin Temple trained their bodies like weapons, based on animals. Tiger claws, crane kicks, snake strikes. It shaped an entire way of life built on survival, rooted in spirituality, and defined by control. Warriors didn't just punch, they mimicked nature, channeled qi, and treated motion like meditation. But Kung Fu didn't blow up globally because of monks. That credit goes to Bruce Lee, who lit a fuse in the West during the 60s and 70s. The guy redefined what martial arts meant on screen. His speed was ridiculous, his screams iconic, and his fight choreography felt like poetry laced with violence. The dragon made its mark, igniting a global obsession and pulling Hollywood into a new era of martial arts cinema. Since then, Kung Fu turned into a genre. Jackie Chan took the stunt side to another level. Jet Li made it fast, smooth, and brutal. Every slow-motion kick in The Matrix, thank Kung Fu. Even Marvel gave it a blockbuster with Shang-Chi. But in actual combat, that's where the controversy kicks in. Most traditional Kung Fu forms don't translate well into MMA or modern fighting. The stances are too wide, the moves too theatrical. Fighters who try to bring pure Kung Fu into the cage often get eaten alive. The discipline is real, the artistry is real. But in a cage fight, it's a tough sell. Still, the influence is locked in. Kung Fu shaped how the world sees martial arts. Not through wins and belts, but through style, culture, and cinematic domination. Karate. It was never built for show. It was built for war and then got cleaned up for schools, movies, and trophies. The roots trace back to Okinawa, where locals secretly developed hand-to-hand systems while under Japanese rule. Weapons were banned, so fists became the tool. That's where the name comes from. Karate means empty hand. When it spread to mainland Japan in the 20th century, karate evolved into something bigger. Uniforms, belts, rigid stances, clean strikes. It became structured, standardized, and eventually taught across dojos worldwide. Instructors drilled students on repetition, control, and precision, like their life depended on it. Sometimes it did. By the time The Karate Kid hit screens in 1984, karate had gone from Okinawan resistance to suburban after-school activity. It exploded in the West. Kids bowed before entering class. They screamed "Kiai" during punches. Every neighborhood had a black belt, or claimed to be one. But real karate isn't about breaking boards or point sparring. Styles like Kyokushin and Shotokan train for impact. Full contact sparring, knockouts, bleeding noses. In Japan, tournaments get brutal. Fighters stand just inches away, swinging with speed and zero padding on the hands. Still, modern karate has split down the middle. One side is traditionalists, preserving kata forms and dojo etiquette. The other? Combat pragmatists, stripping it down for real fights or MMA. Fighters like Lyoto Machida brought it back into the spotlight with that karate stance and sneaky KO timing. He made it work in the UFC when no one expected it to, Taekwondo. Born from military discipline and national identity, this striking art was shaped in dojos and Olympic arenas, not in street fights or smoke-filled gyms. It came from national pride and military training. After the Korean War, generals and martial arts masters unified under one mission: build a fighting system that represented South Korea. By 1959, Taekwondo became the official national martial art. A few decades later, it hit the Olympic stage. From the outside, it looked like a video game come to life. Spinning kicks, tornado kicks, jumping roundhouses aimed at the skull. But beneath the acrobatics, it's a style engineered around speed, precision, and scoring. You don't just throw kicks, you measure distances like a sniper, using lightning-fast setups to rack up points. In the Olympics, matches are fast-paced chess matches with legs. Electronic scoring vests and helmets measure contact. That made Taekwondo one of the most technical striking styles in competition, but it also brought criticism. Fighters barely use punches. The stances are sideways. And in a real fight, most of those spinning head kicks never land. Still, some athletes broke the mold. Valentina Shevchenko, Anderson Silva, and Yair Rodriguez all blended Taekwondo elements into MMA and made it work. Side kicks to the body, wheel kicks to the head, distance control. In the right hands, it's devastating, but there was a challenge. Taekwondo rarely trains for clinches, leg kicks, or ground fighting. You might fly in with a spinning hook, but if someone grabs your leg, you're going down. That's why pure Taekwondo hasn't flourished in the UFC, but the influence is visible, especially with younger fighters raised on its footwork and flash. Capoeira. It looks like a street performance. At first, there's music, rhythm, and two people flipping around in a circle. But behind the flowing kicks and handstands is a history forged in chains. It began with enslaved Africans in Brazil, who developed it as a disguised form of combat. They weren't allowed to fight, so they turned it into a game, one that hid strikes inside spins and flips. To the guards, it looked like nothing more than a dance. At its core, Capoeira is all about movement. There's no square stance or tight guard. Fighters stay in motion, crouched low, swaying in a flow called ginga. The kicks come fast and wide, meant to catch you from blind spots. The most famous strike is the Maya Lua de Compasso, a spinning heel kick that whips around like a blade. Get clipped once and you're out. In modern times, Capoeira became a cultural powerhouse. It was criminalized in Brazil for decades, then revived as a national treasure. It spread worldwide through performances, music, and films. Even video games grabbed it. Characters like Eddie Gordo from Tekken brought the style mainstream. But this isn't just theatrics. Fighters like Marcus Aurelio and Conor McGregor have used Capoeira-style movements to confuse opponents in MMA. It's not the base of their arsenal, but when used at the right moment, those spins create chaos. That unpredictability opens doors. It's not built for clinches or ground fighting, but as a tool for misdirection, distance, and timing, it has value. More importantly, it's a symbol. A style born from resistance, now taught as an art form that honours survival, strategy, and cultural pride. Judo. For this one, it doesn't start with fists. It starts with grips. You lock in, twist, pull, then launch a human body into orbit. It was created in 1882 by Jigoro Kano, a Japanese educator who wanted a martial art that focused on control over chaos. No strikes, no weapons, just leverage. He called it the gentle way. The results were anything but. Judo strips fighting down to the balance between two bodies. Every step is a setup. Every grip is a trap. You might feel safe, then find yourself airborne, slammed flat on your back before you can blink. The core techniques revolve around throws, trips, sweeps, and submissions, built entirely on timing and body mechanics. Kano's system was revolutionary. It became Japan's national sport, entered the Olympics in 1964, and spread globally through universities and police academies. Today, it's practiced in over 200 countries. Its impact is massive. Ronda Rousey used it to ragdoll opponents in the UFC. Karo Parisyan tossed people like it was a stunt show. And Fedor Emelianenko blended judo into Sambo to build one of the most feared MMA runs of all time. But judo has also fractured. Traditionalists focus on throws and competition. Modern grapplers often use it to transition to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, where groundwork dominates. The rule set has shifted too. Leg grabs got banned in 2010, which changed the game and sparked controversy in the community. Still, judo's legacy is untouchable. Savat. Sideways stances, sharp angles, and precision kicks delivered in boots. That's how this French-born style enters a fight. There's no rushing in wild. Every move is calculated, and every strike built on speed and balance. Born in 19th century France, Savat started in the back alleys of Marseille, where sailors and criminals used kicks, slaps and cane strikes to settle problems fast. But by the time it reached Paris, it got refined. Gloves replaced slaps, techniques were cleaned up, and the kicks stayed vicious. What makes Savat unique is how it uses shoes, not just for protection, but as weapons. Fighters train to kick with the toe or heel, turning every shot into a stabbing strike. No shin blocks, no barefoot pivots. Everything's built around distance, balance and finesse. Think fencing, but with feet. The stance is narrow, the movement is light, and the angles are sharp. While Muay Thai bulldozes through you, Savat glides past and kicks you behind the ear. It's less about pressure, more about timing. And when a saboteur lands a spinning hook kick clean, it looks like someone pulled a plug on gravity. In France, Savat is taught in schools, clubs, and even the military. It's a respected sport with its own ranking system and world championships. But outside of Europe, it never exploded. The visual style is unusual, and most MMA fighters trained elsewhere. Still, some cross-trained athletes like Jerome Labana and Lucien Carbin brought its movement and kicks into the kickboxing world. You won't see it often in MMA cages, but when you do, the footwork makes you blink and the heel makes you drop. Boxing doesn't need knees, kicks or submissions. Just 2 fists and 12 rounds to prove who's better. It's one of the oldest and purest forms of combat. Records go back to ancient Greece, and modern prize fighting evolved in the 1700s with bare-knuckle bruisers slugging it out in smoky halls. Gloves came later. So did rules, but the mission stayed the same. Hit and don't get hit. At its highest level, boxing is part sport, part chess match, part public execution. Fighters spend years sharpening 6 tools: jab, cross, hook, uppercut, slip, block. That's it. No flash, no tricks, just footwork, timing, and a brain that can read violence in real time. It's why they call it the sweet science. The legends built dynasties on that simplicity. Muhammad Ali's footwork looked like dance. Mike Tyson turned punches into wrecking balls. Floyd Mayweather broke records without getting touched. Each one mastered a different flavour of pain, speed, power, defence, and proved boxing wasn't about size, it was about control. In MMA, boxing became essential. Conor McGregor's rise was powered by his left hand. Dustin Poirier, Max Holloway, Nate Diaz, they all used clean hands to crack chins and dominate range. But pure boxers walking into a cage? That's rare. Without takedown defence or kicks, it's a dangerous mismatch. Muay Thai. This is the national sport of Thailand, and it's designed to break you. Fists, elbows, knees, shins. 8 limbs used like weapons in a fight that never stops coming forward. Kids in Thailand start training as early as age 6. By the time they're teenagers, many already have over 100 fights. The training is relentless. Road work at dawn, pad work in the heat, sparring with killers. Conditioning isn't optional. You want to block a kick? Better toughen up your legs. You want to clinch? Prepare to eat knees until your ribs give out. The clinch is where Muay Thai becomes a different kind of monster. Fighters wrap you up, control your posture, and punish you. It's not just holding. It's a war zone of elbows, sweeps, and violent leverage. Most strikers crumble the second it closes in. In Thailand, legends like Samat Payakarun, Buakao Banchamek, and Senchai became national heroes, combining power with balance, grace with raw aggression. In the West, Muay Thai exploded through MMA. Jose Aldo's leg kicks changed careers. Joanna Jędrzejczyk weaponized the clinch. Fighters like Volkanovski and Oliveira borrowed Thai tools and ran with them. The damage Muay Thai causes is long-term. deep bone bruises, elbow scars, rib fractures, and when it lands clean, especially an elbow or a step-in knee, it can shut the lights off instantly. No wind-up, just pain. Wrestling. If a wrestler gets to your hips, you're hitting the ground. The sport dates back over 15,000 years, carved into caves, practiced in ancient Olympics, refined through centuries. But despite its age, it still dominates today's fight game. There's no mystery to it. Wrestlers train to control position, dictate pace, and drain your energy. Every move is about leverage. Every takedown is about breaking your stance. The grind is real. Non-stop scrambles, chain wrestling, constant pressure. They don't just pin you, they drown you. In America, wrestling thrives through folk style, freestyle, and Greco-Roman. Olympic medalists like Henry Cejudo, Yoel Romero, and Jordan Burroughs mastered explosiveness and timing. In MMA, wrestling turned into the foundation of champions. Khabib Nurmagomedov's smothering pressure came from years on the mat. Daniel Cormier, Cain Velasquez, and Islam Makhachev used wrestling to nullify even elite strikers. The biggest advantage? Wrestlers control where the fight happens. Want to stand and bang? Too bad. Want to shoot a takedown? You better finish fast, because if you hesitate, you're on your back with a shoulder in your jaw. Wrestling doesn't reward flash, it rewards grit. Practices are brutal. Diets are worse. Cutting weight is a mental war before the real one begins. But once the whistle blows, everything becomes instinct. Double legs, sprawls, rides, and mat returns. There's a reason top MMA coaches say, if you could only have one base, make it wrestling. It teaches balance, pressure, and pain tolerance like nothing else. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. This one doesn't need punches or kicks. It doesn't care how tough you look standing up. Once you're on the ground, it's about patience, angles, and control. Developed by the Gracie family in the early 20th century, BJJ was built on the idea that a smaller, weaker fighter could defeat anyone with the right technique. The magic is in the leverage. Armbar from guard, triangle from the bottom, rear naked choke from the back. You think you're safe until your arm is bent the wrong way or your vision starts to fade. And by the time you realise what's happening, it's already too late. BJJ shook the world in 1993 when Royce Gracie walked into the first UFC, barefoot, 170 pounds, and wearing a GI. He tapped out boxers, kickboxers, and wrestlers one by one. No trash talk, no haymakers, just chokes, mounts, and quiet domination. That moment didn't just boost BJJ, it forced every fighter to learn it. Today, it's standard. Charles Oliveira, Demian Maia, Gilbert Burns. These guys made a career turning scrambles into submissions. Even non-specialists respect the threat. You get lazy in a grappling exchange, you're going home early. But BJJ has it split. Sport BJJ is filled with GI grips, lapel tricks, and point-based strategies. The no-GI crowd moves faster, trains for real scrambles, and focuses on MMA transfers. Guys like Gordon Ryan built entire brands on dominating without the traditional format. What makes BJJ unique is how calm it looks and how deadly it becomes when you're stuck. It rewards precision, not panic, timing, not brute strength. Sambo. In the 1920s, the Soviet Union wanted a martial art that could prepare their troops for real combat. So they blended judo, wrestling, and street fighting techniques into a new system called samozащита bez оружия, self-defense without weapons. The name got shortened, the style didn't. There are two versions. Sport Sambo looks like jacketed wrestling with a focus on throws and submissions. Combat Sambo adds punches, kicks, headbutts, and everything in between. The rules change. The attitude doesn't. It's aggressive, relentless, and designed to end fights quickly. The signature move? Leg locks. Sambo fighters love to snatch an ankle, twist a knee, or dive into a knee bar from positions most people don't even train. If you leave a limb hanging, they'll take it. and you'll be tapping before you hit the mat. It didn't stay locked behind the Iron Curtain for long. The sport exploded globally when guys like Fedor Emelianenko came crashing into Pride and knocked out heavyweights like it was target practice. Then came Khabib Nurmagomedov, who used Sambo to launch people through the air and smother their will to fight. Behind him, a wave of Dagestani monsters trained in the same mould: Islam Makhachev, Magomed Ankalaev, and more on the way. Sambo fighters are conditioned for everything: striking, takedowns, ground control, survival. They wear jackets like judokas, move like wrestlers, and fight like they're owed something. The UFC may not have a Sambo division, but its influence is everywhere. Krav Maga. Born out of survival during 1930s pre-War II Europe, it was developed by Imi Lichtenfeld, a boxer and wrestler protecting Jewish communities from fascist gangs. Years later, it became the official self-defense system of the Israeli military, and the rules got thrown out the window. No points, no referees. Krav Maga trains for chaos: groin strikes, eye gouges, throat shots, gun disarms, knife counters. The goal isn't to win a match, it's to stay alive. Every movement is explosive, close range, and built to stop the threat before it turns deadly. It's built for real life. Parking lot brawls, street attacks, armed robberies. You're trained to react instantly, attack vital targets, neutralize weapons, and escape. There's no feeling out process, just full commitment and full aggression. Krav Maga also strips away the martial arts ceremony. No belts, no bowing. Most classes skip warm-ups and dive straight into drills, hostage scenarios, carjackings, multiple attackers. Instructors push students through stress simulations, sweat, noise, darkness, because clean form doesn't matter if your brain shuts down under pressure. You won't find Krav Maga in MMA. Its techniques are illegal in almost every sanctioned sport. But law enforcement and military units across the world train in it, including the IDF, FBI, and US Secret Service. And in the fitness world, it exploded. Thousands of gyms now offer stripped-down Krav classes focused on conditioning and self-defense. Jeet Kun Do. Back in the 1960s, Bruce Lee was done with rigid systems and endless forms. He believed martial arts had become too trapped in ceremony, too slow to evolve. So he built his own philosophy. Jeet Kun Do means the way of the intercepting fist, but it wasn't just a name. It was a rebellion. Bruce studied everything. Boxing, fencing, Wing Chun, wrestling, judo, whatever worked, he kept. Whatever didn't, he cut. His style became a fusion of efficiency, short strikes, rapid footwork, broken rhythm. He trained with pads, hit the bag, sparred with intensity, long before MMA made that the norm. No choreographed patterns, just results. He told fighters to be formless, like water. That wasn't poetic fluff. He meant adapt, flow around your opponent's weaknesses. Don't be locked into one stance or method. One moment you're parrying like a boxer, the next you're throwing a Wing Chun chain punch. Timing beats speed. Simplicity beats flash. It never became a competitive sport. Bruce didn't want it chained by rules. After his death in 1973, his students, like Dan Inosanto, kept the torch alive, but the system stayed loose. Some gyms teach it like a hybrid curriculum. Others treat it as a mindset layered into other arts. Lethwe. It doesn't soften anything. No gloves, no scoring system, no mercy. This is Myanmar's national combat sport, and it operates on rules that would get you banned anywhere else. Punches, kicks, elbows, knees, clinch work, and headbutts. They're not accidents, they're strategy. Fighters wrap their hands in gauze and tape, no padding. Every strike slices or smashes. It's bare-knuckle brutality built for endurance. The only way to win? Knockout. If both fighters survive 5 rounds without one, it's declared a draw. No judges, no decisions. You either finish or you failed. There's also the injury timeout rule. If you get knocked out, your corner gets one chance to revive you. Ice, massage, anything short of CPR. If you recover in time, you're allowed to continue. You're literally getting back up from a KO to keep going. In Myanmar, Lethwe is tradition. Fights are held outdoors under blazing heat. Ritual dances like the Lekar Maun honour opponents and ancestors. But once the bell rings, it's war. Fighters like Tun Tun Min and Tutu became national heroes by absorbing and dishing out punishment that would retire most athletes. And that's it. Now to you, if you could only master one of these fighting styles to survive a real fight, on your worst day, in the worst place, which one would you trust your life with? Comment down below as you leave a like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more amazing videos like this one.